All right, folks. Homeland security issues, a terror alert. Same with Christy Nome. This is getting real, folks. Here it is. There's the bulletin right there, right in your face. Lots of things developing right now. I'm going to try to get to them as I go. That's why I was late. I'm getting calls and I'm talking to people about all of this stuff that is developing right now. Were the strikes not as successful as we thought they were? Big problem. There is news coming out from sources saying that they may have not have been as successful as we thought. Folks, hit the notification button. Hit the notification button. Also, you can Venmo me D-Rod1977, D-Rod1977. I'm trying to stay ahead of everything as it comes in, and it's a huge task. It's a big task. I had Colonel Towner Watkins on yesterday talking about, she's going to be on, I had her on yesterday. I'm putting her on ninoscorner.tv today talking about the terror alert that's happening. Homeland security issues, a terror alert. We're going to have to stay vigilant. I would issue Nino's travel advisory. Be careful where you're going right now. It's hot. It's really hot, even domestically, even in America. We're a target now, folks. It's gotten real. And it looks like China could be joining the party. Lots of developments happening with Iran. They're switching their GPS system to the Chinese GPS system. They're closing the Strait of Hormuz, to everybody except China. Yeah. This is getting real and it's escalating quickly, moment by moment. News is breaking on this. And I'm trying to stay ahead of the ball without losing my fucking mind. Yeah. All right. So, folks, When the Lights Go Out on Amazon. You can get that book right there. I wrote that book in a month's time with my thumb on my phone. I text the whole damn thing. Thank you for the super chats. Also, my mom's book, The Mexican Mix. You all know what I'm going through with both my parents. They have dementia and seizures, and it's all because of this, in my opinion. All because of that. Just saying. And, folks, speaking of which, I just had James Martinez on my program on ninoscorner.tv, and let me tell you, that was the most terrifying podcast I've ever done. Talking about AI, how it's being maneuvered into the human consciousness with our phones, the towers, everything. This guy's an MK Ultra whistleblower coming on my program. He's on there right now on ninoscorner.tv. We're walking right into it. In fact, we're already there. And guess what? What I'm doing to my shoulder right now, pointing to this, enhanced everything for those people. I feel really bad for you. For those people, folks, it enhanced everything. If you're wondering what to do right now, if you're wondering, like, where do I put my money? What do I do? If you want to stay ahead of the ball, get into the mining industry, folks. Giant Mining. It's Giant Mining Corp. The link is down below. The United States is staring down a copper crunch. Global inventories hover a 15-year lows. Washington is floating import tariffs, and every EV data center and power grid build needs metal we don't control. Investors who wait for security supply headlines will be paying record premiums again. Picture project delays, soaring construction costs, and CEOs scrambling for offshore concentrate while retail investors chase the last uptick. Miss the window and you're funding someone else's margin, because the margins will snap up the few U.S. assets with grade scale and infrastructure once the tariff hammer drops. Giant Mining Corp's 9,800 acre Majuba Hill project in Nevada is built for this super cycle. Highway, rail power, and fiber on the claims. A recent hit of 170 feet at 0.4% CU with a 10-foot spike at 4.4%. And engineering firm Respect. I don't even know what I'm reading right there. Sounds good, though. But while rivals tangle with new red tape, Majuba is sprinting toward development. Ticker is off. So here we go. This is Giant Mining info. You're going to want to get in on this. I'm getting in on it. I take advice from people, folks, and they come to me and say, here you go. Why don't you read some ads on this? and we'll get you involved. And I get involved. I don't peddle anything that I don't support. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't do that shit. I don't try to sell my audience on garbage. I only I only peddle what I use. All right, folks. Nino'sCorner.tv. Wano Saban's up there right now. The Ghost is up there. Colonel Towner Watkins is going to be up there issuing the terror alert. Now, Colonel Watkins gets into who's really behind this terror alert. Who's really the culprit here? And it's many, many organizations that will say, what? Iran. Now, Iran's a real threat, but there's a lot of minutia behind all this on how this works. A lot of special interest that will gain a lot by blaming it on Iran. Folks, we are in it now, and this is going to escalate fast. I'm going to say this. We have the right guy behind the helm of the ship. That's Donald Trump. This was going to happen whether we liked it or not. Who set this up? You know who set this up. Mr. O. I have to say that on YouTube, but Mr. O set this up. Biden. We are cleaning up a mess, and if we don't rip the Band-Aid off right now, from my understanding, this is going to be 1,000 times worse in the future. And it could be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. We have to rip the Band-Aid off now. We had to make them play their hand, is the way I understand this. So we're not going to go around this. We're going to go through this together. We're going to go through this together and trust our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump. Now, folks, if you're watching me on X, I'm going to cut the live feed on X, get to the YouTube channel and follow me on the YouTube channel. I'm also giving away a gift card giveaway for $25. Yeah, I'm a cheap date. $25 gift card, Visa gift card. Alex will put it up on the screen every like 15 minutes, and I'll read it out to you all. So I'm going to cut the live feed on X, and the only way you can win a gift card by yours truly, your cheap date, Nino, is by being in the YouTube chat and making your voice heard. Be loud in the chat, and Alex will pick you, okay? That's how it works. And you get a $25 cheap date with Nino. Also, I have a lot of other great guests coming on, folks. I can't even keep track of how many guests I'm having coming on, all with specialized intel. Now, you all love Wano Saban, but I'm getting my intel from different sources. I do not like the MAGA division. I do not like people freaking out. I'm the only one allowed to freak out, okay? But I understand that this is an operation, and I understand the fight. I understand how we have to fight this war, and we have to go through this. We have to go through this together. It's just the way it is. We cannot let Iran develop these capabilities. We cannot let Iran develop nuclear capabilities so that the globalists could succeed. All right, folks, let me get into this. You might want to turn it down or turn it up because I'm about to get on fire, baby. Yeah, here we go. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, folks. Oh, baby, yeah. Smack it a few times for me. All right. All right, Homeland Security issues terror alert. Nations prepared to arm Iran with nuclear warheads after U.S. strikes. Russia, Medvedev claims. So our nation is going to come to the aid of Iran. Well, Medvedev suggested that the United States attacks on 3 sites in Isfahan, Natanz, and Fordow backfired and led to the opposite result from what the U.S. President Donald Trump had set out to achieve. Yes, Trump needed to take out the nuclear facilities so that Iran would no longer have the capabilities to be used for the globalist elite nuclear war, which they were planning, whether we liked it or not. This was the direction they were going. Just look at who sent them all the cash. Billions and billions of dollars on crates. We believed we set them back 50 years. But now new reports are coming out that it was minimal damage. And I'm going to stay on top of this as it develops. As reports come out that it was minimal damage, China looks like they're joining the party. And what do I mean by that? Well, Iran seems to be penetrating the Iron Dome, and not just that, but they're closing the Strait of Hormuz, and leaving it open just to who? To China. As well as switching over their GPS capabilities to who? China. We are very sneaky. Donald Trump needed to take out the nuclear facility so that Iran would no longer have the capabilities to be used by the globalist elite for nuclear war. But did he do that? It was supposedly supposed to set them back 50 years. And Trump was planning on killing two birds with one stone, or did this just backfire? With nations now ready to come to Iran's aid with nukes and a holy jihad. Boom, baby. Could Trump try and broker a peace deal in which neither will accept? I think we're in it now, folks. I think what's going to happen here is Trump is going to be forced to make another move. That's what I see happening here. So could Trump's bombing of the nuke sites just be a way to create an excuse for Israel to stop fighting or call their bluff? Well, now reports are coming out, and I'm going to follow this, that they did minimal damage. Minimal damage. Israel can't afford war losses anymore. They said they only have 2 to 3 weeks' time of arsenal left to maintain this kind of fight at the intensity it is right now. It's an intense fight. But I personally believe Netanyahu won't call a ceasefire. In fact, I think he's going to want this. I think all sides really want this war to perpetuate and continue. So in my mind, is this going to hurt Israel in the end? I do believe we're saving Israel for last, and I do believe this is going to expose them. But this is about to get really, really scary, and I've been told to the point where people could be jumping off buildings. That's what I was told. This is going to get scary. Is this going to lead to the nuclear scare event? I don't know, folks. I think so. I think we're all going to be questioning our lives. You think 2020 was bad when all this hit? See, folks, you got to understand 9/11, 2020, what's happening right now. Who's in charge of this? Who's doing this? Is it so hard for you not to believe that it's a small section of elite psychopaths running the entire world, using countries as proxies, manipulating and instigating wars, controlling the money system? Is it so hard for you to believe that? I understand it. Why? Because I was in a dog shit business of boxing. I was around psychopaths daily. I fought them. And it's either kill or be killed. I understand the business of psychopaths. I get it. To me, it's a no-brainer. That's who runs the world. That's who run the streets. Remember, folks, Trump's objective is not, and I repeat, not to occupy Iran or declare any kind of war. They were just strikes. But when you really understand this, it is war. Bottom line, when you strike another country, that's an act of war. You don't really need to declare it, although they're saying, no. We declared war on the nuclear sites. That's what we did. But when you're striking a country as fanatical as Iran, it's war. And now knowing that there's millions of these people within our country ready to start a jihad, when they're ready to do that, everything's off the table. So what now? Terrorist cells are now activated worldwide, and especially in America, for such a time as this, and which I've been saying over and over on my podcast for the last 5 years. This is getting real. This is escalating. And now they have every reason in the world to attack us. And I don't know if they're going to be mass shootings. I don't know if they're going to be airplanes going down. I don't know if they're going to be bombings. I don't know if it's going to be an EMP. I don't know if it's going to be a cyber attack. I don't know. Check the box, all of the above. Iran has issued a threatening warning, vowing that if attacked, it will unleash a wave of retaliation through sleeper cells embedded within the United States, potentially sparking coordinated assaults deep inside American territory. Homeland Security issues this advisory. Will you listen? And I don't know, Alex, if you want to show that advisory again. Here it is, folks. Here's the bulletin right there, and I'm going to read it for you. Terror alert. Go ahead and keep that up there, Alex. I'm going to read it for the audience. The ongoing Iran conflict is causing a heightened threat environment in the United States. Low-level cyber attacks against U.S. networks by pro-Iranian hacktivists are likely, and cyber actors affiliated with the Iranian government may conduct attacks against U.S. networks. Iran also has a long-standing commitment to target U.S. government officials it views as responsible for the death of the Iranian military commander killed in January 2020. The likelihood of violent extremists in the homeland independently mobilizing to violence in response to the conflict would likely increase if Iranian leadership issued a religious ruling calling for retaliatory violence against targets in the homeland. Multiple recent homeland terrorist attacks have been motivated by anti-Semitic or anti-Israel sentiment, and the ongoing Israel-Iran conflict could contribute to U.S.-based individuals plotting additional attacks. Now, who brought them all here? Well, just look at the last 4 years. Additional information. The Iranian government has publicly condemned direct U.S. involvement in the conflict. Both hacktivists and Iranian government-affiliated actors routinely target poorly secured U.S. networks and internet-connected devices for disruptive cyber attacks. Could our banking system go down? Just a question. U.S. law enforcement has disrupted multiple potentially lethal Iranian-backed plots in the United States since 2020. During this time, the Iranian government has also unsuccessfully targeted critics of its regime who are based in the homeland for lethal attack. If Iranian leadership were to issue a religious ruling calling for the retaliatory violence against specific targets in the homeland, it could increase the likelihood that a supporter of the Iranian regime is inspired to commit an act of violence in the homeland. Since the start of the conflict, we have seen media resources to stay safe, report and potential threats, listen to local authorities and public safety officials. DHS's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, offers cybersecurity best practices for securing U.S. networks. The nationwide Suspicious Activity Reporting SAR initiative, NSI, is a collaborative effort by DHS and FBI and law enforcement partners to identify and report threats of terrorism and other related criminal activity. If you see something, say something. In other words, police yourselves. And I don't know about this. I'll be honest. I don't know how I feel about this. My mind goes back to problem, reaction, solution every time whenever I see stuff like this. And I think to myself, who's really behind, who's going to be behind these attacks? What intelligence agencies are going to be behind these attacks? That's how I see this. And I know that's why my audience is here on my channel, because we're that niche group, that niche group. Congratulations, Chantel Bergeron.
Bergeron, maybe?
Bergeron, there you Bergeron. All right, thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. Alex likes to correct me every now and then, and that's why he's on here, by the way. All right, folks. And with that being said, with all the terrorist threats happening right now in America, that being said, critics ramp up scrutiny of a 22-year-old former lawn boy, which I have a hard time believing this, but I'm just showing you what they're putting out there, what they're actually putting out there in the media right now. Look at this guy's face. He almost looks, he's making the look of a, was it Dr. Evil? Right? Am I right, Alex? Look at that. Does he not have the same face?
100%.
Is it Mr. Evil or Dr. Evil?
Yeah, Dr. Evil. He's
Dr. Evil. Yeah.
He just needs that.
Did I not nail that? Did I not nail that? Does it not look like he's making that face? Like, holy shit, man. Just on that principle, I wouldn't have picked him. Amid the threats of retribution from Iran following the U.S. military strike on 3 Iranian nuclear sites, critics have ramped up their scrutiny of the 22-year-old. A 22-year-old shouldn't be running anything, folks. I'm sorry. 22-year-old who was assigned to a major terrorism prevention post by President Donald Trump. In his Sunday morning post to X, Chris Murphy called out Trump for appointing a 22-year-old Thomas Fugate, I guess is how you say his name, to a role at the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, in which he oversees the Center for Prevention Programs and Partnerships, a division of the agency which is tasked with terrorism prevention. I'm sorry, folks, but I can't put this together. I don't understand. What does a 22-year-old know about anti-terrorism or terrorism or anything at all? At 22 years old, I didn't know my ass from my elbow. I'm just going to be honest. What does a 22-year-old do? I would even question a 32-year-old. A 22-year-old? I don't know. Vladimir Putin is placing the blame for the war squarely on Israel, accusing it of provoking the conflict with Iran. He insists it was Israel, not Iran, that started the war and predicts that Israel will ultimately fail to achieve its objectives. They will not reach their goals, he says. Iran's supreme leader asked Putin to do more after U.S. strikes. Iran's supreme leader has written to Vladimir Putin directly asking for help as the country's foreign minister, who is holding in-person talks with the Russian leader, urged Moscow to confront shared challenges and threats after U.S. and Israeli airstrikes. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi will hand the letter from Ayatollah al-Khamenei to Putin in Moscow on Monday. Reuters reporting citing an unnamed senior source after U.S. and Israeli strikes on Tehran's nuclear sites. The full contents of the letter have not been reported or disclosed. We have always had shared concerns, worries, and adversaries with Russia. We have always shared common beliefs and consulted closely with each other to confront shared challenges and threats. That is what will be done on Monday during the meeting with the Russian president. He said on an Iran state broadcaster. So, folks, this has all the makings for World War III. I'm just going to say it. Now, Juan has said this is not World War III, this is World War IV. But I believe we have no choice but to get to the scare event. And I think that getting to this scare event sooner rather than later, and I'll tell you why. Trump has 3.5 years left. If we're going to get to justice and arrests, this stuff has to play out first. This situation with Iran, Israel, all of it needs to come to a head right now, so that justice can be served and come forward. Now, what I mean by that is this has to be done on Trump's watch. It can't be at the end of his presidency when he leaves, when the arrests happen and the justice is served. This has to happen under the commander-in-chief's supervision. So all of this stuff has to transpire right now in order to get to the other side of this, which is justice. I don't know if you all understand what I'm saying, but give me a thumbs up if you understand that. We have to go through this right now. We have to nullify and neutralize certain threats right now. So when we get to the other side and justice cometh forth with arrests and military, you know what, that these threats are neutralized and nullified. I hope I make sense. I know it's scary, but this has to happen. That's the best I can say it. We're going to be cutting the X broadcast right now. Alex, go ahead and cut the X broadcast. We're just going to be on YouTube. So just get over to YouTube, folks, and I'll see you there, folks. I'll see you on YouTube right now. Get over to YouTube from X, please. It helps me with my ads, folks. I got to put dinner on the table. Why it matters. Iran's talks with Putin will be closely watched in the U.S. Russia and Iran have deepened their military ties since the start of Putin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. That includes Tehran providing the Shahed drones integral to Moscow's strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure. Sheltering in a bunker. Iran's supreme leader prepares for the worst. Wary of assassination, Iran's supreme leader mostly speaks with his commanders through a trusted aide now, suspending electronic communications to make it harder to find him. Three Iranian officials familiar with his emergency war plan say. Located in a bunker, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has picked an array of replacements down his chain of military command in case more of his valued lieutenants are killed. And in a remarkable move, the officials add, Ayatollah Khamenei has even named 3 senior clerics as candidates to succeed him should he be killed. So they're preparing for this. Ayatollah Khamenei has taken an extraordinary series of steps to preserve the Islamic Republic ever since Israel launched a series of surprise attacks last Friday. Now, I'm hearing Israel's having a hard time with the assault that Iran's delivering on the Iron Dome, and it look like Israel's in deep shit, and they're going to need America to come to their aid. But is this how Trump ultimately exposes Israel? That's my question. How is this really going to play out? Now, we know they have their plans, China, Russia, Iran. But as much as I say I don't want to get involved in this war at all, and I don't want terror threats here on our soil, it's already there. We're already in it. And I feel we have to get through this rather than around this or we're too scared to confront this. You know, you heard Wano Saban talk about this. The only way is through this, folks. And I know that we have each had things in our lives that we know is hard to confront. They're demons, whatever they are. And the only way to do it is go through it. And that's where we're at as a country right now. And that's what I say to all the podcasters out there who are having differences with each other and fighting and screaming and calling for Trump derangement and Trump said this and Trump said that. Folks, we got to be a team. We can't be divided right now. The big play that they want is for America to be divided and to take us out. If we're spread too thin, we cannot win this. In other words, if we're spread too thin here in our homeland, when all this stuff starts popping off and you got people like Candace Owens or Russell Brand or Tucker Carlson all disagreeing and not understanding what this operation truly is, we're in deep shit. We've got to stay united on this front. We have got to stay united and trust our commander-in-chief, President Trump, folks. I'm telling you that right now, point blank. We have got to go through this together. It's the only way out is through it. Not around it, not another day, we'll postpone it like everyone else did. No, we got to go through it together, and it happens now. And that's what we got to do. Nations prepared to arm Iran with nuclear warheads after U.S. strikes. Russia's Medvedev claims. Medvedev suggested that the United States attacks on 3 sites in Isfahan, Natanz, and Fordo backfired. He's saying it backfired, in which I'm getting reports saying minimal damage, which means probably more strikes coming ahead. And it led to the opposite result from what the U.S. President Donald Trump had set out to achieve. A number of countries are ready to supply Iran with nuclear warheads following American strikes in nuclear facilities early on Sunday, Russian ex-President Dmitry Medvedev claimed on social media. In a post on X and Twitter, Medvedev suggested that the United States attacks on all 3 sites in Isfahan, Natanz, and Fordo backfired. It led to the opposite result from what the U.S. president was trying to achieve. According to Medvedev, enrichment of nuclear material, and now we can say it is outright, the future production of nuclear weapons will continue, and we will come to Iran's aid. Many nations are ready to supply Iran with nuclear warheads, top Putin aide says. So here we go. This is escalating. It's going to get real, folks. It's going to get real. Alex, did you cut the feed from X?
Yeah, it's just YouTube now.
Awesome. Cool. All right, folks. So I can't say for everyone to get over to YouTube. You're already here. Doomsday program destroyed, bracing for strikes. Trump says the U.S. took the bomb out of Iran's hands. But did he really? All the reports I'm hearing now is that was minimal damage, and they moved it all away from those locations. So that is yet to be seen. That's developing. I'm going to stay on top of this. I'm going to stay on top of that, folks. Iran orders closure of the Strait of Hormuz, putting 1/5 of world's oil supply at risk, except it is being said right now that China will have access because everybody likes Chinese food. So China will still have access to this. This is also developing. Folks, I'm putting it out there first. I'm trying to be first here. I'm trying to be the breaking news of the internet. But this is what I'm hearing, and I'm getting the intel from different camps that I'm talking to right now. So looks like China's joining the party. Chilling warning that Britain faces new era of terror attacks after U.S. strikes on Iran. Terror attacks backed by the Iranian regime are likely to increase as a result of the U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran, a senior minister has warned. Jonathan Reynolds said it would be naive to think the risk won't intensify after Donald Trump's onslaught on Iran's nuclear facilities. Folks, I'm going to just say this. It's only a matter of time. And you all better be careful. Be careful where you're traveling. Because right now, I'm going to say that there are hot spots all over the world, and especially within America. The last 4 years was an engineered takeover, an engineered invasion for such a time as now. And I've always said this for 5 years. They're going to be activated. They're going to be activated. They're going to be activated. Screaming from the hills. And now, folks, reports, Homeland Security report says they're activated. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to give you a little story right here. Alert from Texas. From Texas. Muslim jihad. So on U.S. soil, Yasser Khamenei pledges his allegiance to Iran, rages against America. Now, these people are in America getting a microphone and raging against America. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. That's all these millions of people that got through our border, by the way. And call for Muslim unity against kafir. That means you, Texas. When Yasser Khamenei says kafir, he's not just talking about the people in Israel. He's not just talking about Israel. He's talking about you, every non-Muslim, and especially Texas. Kafir is a hateful Islamic slur that means filthy unbeliever. Anyone who rejects Islam. Anybody who rejects Islam. Christian, Jewish, Hindu, atheist, agnostic. If you're outside their system, you're the enemy. Kafir, the son of Pakistani immigrants who spends his days raging against the kafir, stood inside a Texas mosque in Plano. Now, you all have heard about Plano, Texas. In Plano, and told Muslims to unite against who? You. That's right. And this is happening where? Deep in the heart of Texas. Yep, Plano. This is happening in Plano, Texas, folks. He praised Iran. He condemned America and Texas politicians. He mocked any Muslim who supports Israel or the West. See, with where we're at right now, with this being so red hot, I don't understand why they don't just go in and arrest this guy on the spot. Why is he being allowed to get on his soapbox and spew this crazy rhetoric? That's my question. Maybe he is arrested by now. I don't know. He told Muslims across all sects, put your differences aside. Focus your anger where it belongs, on those who side with kafir. This is not religious guidance. It's ideological warfare, folks. And Texas is the battleground. Texas is the battleground. Yasser is not some fringe preacher. He is the architect of Islam in Texas. He's the main man behind the epic mosque. And I got to tell you, there's mosques here popping up everywhere in El Paso. I even saw, if you drive on the border freeway, there's a mosque that I think I see in Juarez, in Ciudad Juarez. What the hell are they doing in Mexico? What are they doing in Ciudad Juarez? They've been strategically placed everywhere, folks. I'm telling you. And the driving force behind the Dangerous Epic City project He is leading the Pakistanification of your state, building Islamic enclaves where the next generation is raised to see you as the enemy. I don't understand why we don't just put a stop to this right now and shut these all down. Shut them all down. He's not hiding it. He's broadcasting it in the open. He's even taking to the internet, social media. He's everywhere. I don't know if you guys have seen this guy. Qatar is rallying Muslims not as Americans, but as religious army trained to oppose kafir, reject the West, and enforce a foreign system of control. Why isn't Department of Homeland Security going in there right now and taking this guy out? That's my question. He's replacing the failed Islamic blueprint of Pakistan right here in Texas soil. And who's the governor of Texas? Oh, that's right, the Rhino. This all happened on his watch. Governor Abbott allowed this to happen, folks. The last 4 years, Governor Abbott didn't call an emergency or stop the border. He put some chicken shit wire up around every now and then where I could just throw a towel over it and cross over, but he didn't do anything. Nah, he let this get out of hand. And I don't know, maybe this is all for the bigger plan, the bigger operation. I don't know. But we're here now, and Texas is a hotspot, especially Plano, Texas. So I would imagine that's going to pop off first. MAGA madman blames Tim Walz for his murderous rampage. Alleged assassin Vance Bowler has claimed the Minnesota governor Tim Walz instructed him to kill Senator Amy Klobuchar, I think that's how you say her last name, in a rambling letter addressed to the FBI, the Minnesota Star Tribune has reported. Bowler, who killed State Rep Melissa Hortman and her husband and shot State Senator John Hoffman and his wife earlier this month, claimed in a letter that Walz instructed him to carry out his killings so that Walz could run for Senate. Man, these people have no soul. No soul whatsoever. Politicians, you got to think about it, folks. Psychopaths really desire that power. They want to be in places of power. Why? Because they're sick. They're sick people. That's how I look at it. Vladimir Putin is placing the blame for the war squarely on Israel, as I said, accusing it of provoking the conflict with Iran. Alex, do we have another winner for the Super Chat? Is this number 2? Now, I think I can say this name, Jessica Lloyd. Jessica Lloyd, congratulations, Jessica Lloyd. Thank you for playing the Nino's raffle. How's everybody doing there today? I'm glad to see everyone in the chat. Oh, boy, it's been a long, long day for me, a long morning. I'm hardly getting any sleep. Folks, sometimes I have to wake up at 5 in the morning to put together these shows. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So I like to read these articles and everything. Do you guys like when I have guests on? Do you guys like when I bring on people like Ian Wendt or Colonel Towner Watkins on my shows? Because I think I'm going to do that more often. These shows are, believe it or not, folks, I'm a one-man show here. I'm a one-man party. This is actually very difficult to do. It's almost like you have to be an auctioneer. I got to keep your attention. Keep your attention. Make sure you don't log off. It's pretty difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's a hard gig, folks. It's a lot harder than you think. I'm going to tell you that right now. Trump says, I want to just say, I love you, God. President Donald Trump goes off script. Thanks God, an honest display of emotion following U.S. military strike on Iran. You got to think. Is he rubbing it in the Muslims' face right now? I love you, God, after we just struck Iran. Is it kind of to instigate or fire up or flare up the Muslim hemorrhoids? I think it is. I kind of feel, I don't think Trump does anything off cue. I don't think he goes off script. I think everything is a calm, everything is meant, everything is strategic, and I think he did this to inflare tensions. That's just my opinion. President Donald Trump addressed the nation on Saturday night following the U.S. airstrikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities in Fordo, Natanz, and Estefan. Trump later told Fox News that Fordo facility was hit with a 6 bunker buster bombs and was completely destroyed. Like I said, new developments are saying that the damage may have been minimal. I'm waiting to hear more about this. President Trump addressed the nation at 10 p.m. Eastern following the attacks. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of the State, Marco Rubio, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth joined Trump and the White House during the 3-minute address. During the announcement, President Trump went off script when he sincerely thanked God while his voice was shaking. I don't know if Trump's voice was shaking, but it calms my soul to know this man believes in God. I don't know about you all, but for me, I am very happy he believes in a higher power, folks. In border news, the Los Angeles Dodgers have just pledged nearly $1 million in direct financial assistance to support immigrant families affected by recent events in the region. The team also announced that additional community support initiatives will be unveiled in the coming days. So, all right, so they're supporting illegal immigrants. Are you a Dodgers fan? Are you going to turn your back on the Dodgers? Yeah, they defy Trump with $1 million for families hit by the ICE raids. They're giving the families that are hit by the ICE raids $1 million, folks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Gardeners reportedly taken by ICE agents while mowing. Oh, boy. Mowing outside California home. Neighbors are concerned after a Southern California man said his 2 gardeners reportedly taken. Could you imagine watching your gardener get mowing the lawn and then getting snagged up and thrown in a van? I don't know. They haven't come to El Paso, have they? Obviously, there's nothing happening here in El Paso because I still see this everywhere. I still see Jose and Sanchita all outside mowing the lawns, using the leaf blower. Oh, boy. So federal immigration agents that were working outside the home snagged up some gardeners on Thursday morning. Christopher Ames and his gardeners were mowing the lawn outside his house in Ontario, California. His neighbors, who had witnessed the men being taken into custody, quickly alerted him to the incident. They left a lawnmower running right on their front lawn, Ames said. They threw my gardeners' phones in their work truck along with their car keys, left everything open, and just took off. So they're coming and snatching bodies now, folks. If you got a lawnmower man or your leaf blower is outside making that noise, you may just see him get taken off into a van, kidnapped and taken into a van. So I'm going to say something here, folks, that's developing right now. This is huge. This is really big. Iran's strategic shift is happening right now, ditching GPS for, I think how you say it is Baodao or whatever. In a move that has significant implications for both regional and global technological landscapes, Iran has made a decisive choice. It has shut down all GPS services within its territory and officially activated the Chinese Badao, I'll say it like that, that sounds better, Badao navigation satellite system. This decision comes at a time when Iran faces geopolitical tensions and the need for more reliable navigation solutions. Now, a lot of people are saying this is superior to ours, and there's some that are saying it is not. I'll leave that up to you. GPS, long dominated by the United States, has been a global standard for positioning, navigation, and timing. However, for Iran, relying on a system controlled by a foreign power, especially one which it has complex relations with, poses risks. The concerns range from potential service disruptions during geopolitical standoffs to data security issues. In contrast, the Badao system developed by China offers a host of advantages. Don't I sound better when I say it like that? Badao. With a global network of satellites, Badao provides high precision positioning, navigation, and timing services. It also has been lauded for its robust anti-interference capabilities, which are crucial for military and critical infrastructure applications. Moreover, Badao unique short message communication function can be a game changer in areas where traditional communication networks are unreliable. Iran's adoption of Badao is not only a technological upgrade, but also a strategic step towards greater self-reliance and away from the American companies. GPS. It signals a shift in the global satellite navigation market, which has long been dominated by a few players. So they're switching over to China. This is unbelievable. This is turning out to be a bigger shit show than we all expected, huh, folks? I don't know. It seems to me like this is just going to keep escalating, and I'll be on top of it, folks. I'm going to stay on top of this as much as I can. How many winners do we have right now, Alex? All right, number 3, Parker 5780. Parker 5780, you won. Thank you for playing Nino's raffle. Oh boy. There will either be peace or tragedy for Iran. Iran's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Abbas Arakhanchi, warned in a post on X that the U.S. attacks will have an everlasting consequence and that Tehran reserves all options to retaliate. Iran's ambassador to the United States calls for an emergency security council meeting to discuss what he described as the U.S.'s heinous attacks and illegal use of force against Iran. How many of you believe that there's going to be more strikes on Iran, that Trump will deliver more strikes on Iran? Please put it in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. And we're going to pick one more winner after this. I got to tell you, folks, I got to say, man, with everybody that I'm talking to, I try to stay on top of this all day long. I mean, my life has become this now. I get up every morning about 5 a.m. I try to hit the gym and I go and do my work and I try to put together a show for you all and read what the mainstream media is lying to you about. That's what I do. I read to you. That's why I do it so sarcastically. I'm reading to you what the mainstream media is lying to you about and trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together for my audience. Because I know all of you have limited time. All of you have very limited time. You don't have time to hear the bullshit on MSN. Most of you turn the TVs off. So you want to hear direct truth. That's what I try to deliver. That's what I tried to deliver with Dino'sCorner.tv, and that's what I try to deliver on my YouTube channel. And I try to make it as entertaining as possible, although I'm a jackass. I know I'm a jackass. On purpose, because I try to make it entertaining. I have to use the bells and whistles, and it all comes from my personality. That's just the way it does. That's just the way I read the news, and I do it because I know you have a choice in who you listen to. And I want you all to know that I'm bringing you the news before it's news. And I think I've done a pretty damn good job the last 5 years. Everything, everywhere we're to the point to where we're at right now, folks, I'd like to know the truth. And you can put it in the chat. Have I been over the target 90% of the time, 95% of the time, 80% of the time? Put it in the chat and you won't offend me. You will not offend me. How much have I been over the target? Put it in the chat. 80%, 60%, 50%, none. Put it in the chat. I want to know. I'd like to know. I'd like to see from my audience how well I'm doing because I'm doing my best here. And you will not offend me. You won't offend me. I like 100%. Well, shit, I'll take that. So Iranian state media claims targeted nuclear sites and their uranium stockpiles were previously evacuated. 90%, 100, all right, 1,000%, 0%. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. Hey, everyone's allowed to their opinion, right? I mean, I can't say anything. How are my mods doing in here? How are my mods doing? Are my mods in here? I don't see them. Iranian state media confirms that the Islamic Republic's Isfahan, Natanz, and Fordo nuclear sites were attacked by enemy strikes. And the IRIB state broadcaster claims the sites, along with their enriched uranium stockpiles, were evacuated beforehand. They were evacuated beforehand. Minimal damage. And other nations are now saying, hey, we're going to come and give them nuclear warheads. Defying America. Every American in the Midwest is now a legitimate target after U.S. strikes. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps wrote on social media, now that war has begun, every American is a legitimate target. Folks, you got to take heed to this. You know, I think we're going to see military on the streets. I think we're going to see them sooner rather than later. I think, and I hate to say it like this, but I think maybe Trump is waiting for that one that one kickoff, that one event, so that he can bring in the military and clean this place up. Because, folks, we have to clean it up. We didn't start this. The last few administrations started this. They created the mess. Trump is just cleaning it up, and that's the truth. He's merely cleaning it up. And, of course, it's going to look really, really bad. My question is to my audience right now is, do you think majority of this will be wrapped up before July 4th, where we have this celebration? Or do you think this lasts well into the months and well into the years? Please put your thoughts in the comments right now. Let me know what you think. Because I think, in my opinion, there's going to be something big that happens between now and July 4th. And I think, and I'm going to have Bo Pony come on again, August 3rd. That's 666 days from the event that happened on October 7th when Israel was attacked by paragliders. They penetrated the Iron Dome, right? Paragliders penetrated the Iron Dome. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then 666 days from then is August 3rd. I'm going to bring Bo Pony on this, and we think a religious site may be attacked around that time so they can build their new temple. Yes. 666 days from the attack, we'll have our temple attacked. And then, we build the new temple for the Antichrist. That's how I see this shit playing out. I do. It's all scripted. And everyone falls for it. A whopping third of non-Trump voters think U.S. is in dictatorship right now. According to a new poll, over a third of Americans who aren't aligned with President Donald Trump believe the United States is now a dictatorship. Many of President Trump's critics have accused him of acting like a dictator, including Governor Gavin Newsom. Oh, yeah, coming from that guy, who tore into President Donald Trump in a scathing response to Trump's threat to have him arrested earlier this month. In an interview on the Media's Touch podcast, Newsom said of the threat was that said that Erdogan, who was this said by? Some dictator, some authoritarian in the history books? Or was that said by our own President Donald J. Trump? So they're really painting this guy to be the next like Hitler. That's what they're trying to do because they know what's coming. They know what's coming. Mass deportations, mass clickety-clank, look what I'm doing with my wrists. That's all coming. And they're going to really try to spin this narrative that he's an evil dictator. He wants to be king. They want to sow division and spin us into civil unrest and a civil war. And where do all roads lead to? All roads lead to, drum roll please, Obama. Yep, there it is. Damn, good timing, Alex. That was pretty good, Alex. Everyone give Alex a thumbs up. We didn't coordinate that at all. We know who is responsible for Iran's nuke program, and there he is, bending down at all the pallets of cash right there. Good old Barry. Pelosi raked in millions of dollars last year, and her portfolio outperformed every large hedge fund with a stunning return. So I don't know if you guys have seen Ross Givens on my program. I brought him on. He follows the inside traders. This guy's a hell of a podcast. If you haven't seen him, you should watch him. Ross Givens. She might be the she-wolf of Wall Street. Nancy Pelosi raked in between 7.8 and 42.5 million just in 2024, meaning her estimated net worth with venture capitalist hubby Paul Pelosi can now top out at about $413 million. New financial disclosures showed. So what is she doing? I suggest you go listen to the Ross Givens podcasts I'm doing. They follow her moves, and he has like this unbelievable portfolio, folks. He's making a lot of money for a lot of people. So I brought him on my program, and I tell you what, he's following the whales, the people that have the whispers, the inside knowledge, the insider traders. He's just following what they do, and he's making a lot of people money. Did we do all 4 winners, Alex?
We have one more to pick. Maybe you want to pick the last one.
All right, I'm going to pick the last one. All right, folks. We're off X right now, right?
Yeah, we're off X.
All right, cool. YouTube. So it's just weird because I'm confused by the numbers. But all right, I'm going to get a winner. All right. So, folks, use all caps, and I'm going to pick somebody in the chat right now. Let's see who the lucky winner is. The winner of the chicken dinner. Sancho's chicken dinner. $25 to a buffet. I think don't buffets cost about $25?
I think so. Yeah, it's about that.
Yeah, so I'm a cheap date, folks. And look, as I start improving and we start doing a little better for ourselves, I'll up the winner here. I'll up the Visa gift card. All right, so let's see. Sancho, me hungry. All right, me hungry. Yo. All right, let's see. Wiener, Nino. Go time. All right, I'm going to pick somebody right now. Let's see. Who am I going to pick? Damn, this is going fast. Jeez, man, it's like, all right, keep going, folks. Golly, it's going fast. Con man sense. Yeah, let's get this.
Common sense. Okay, got you. Common
sense. Yeah, but I read it so fast, I don't know.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, sweet. Common sense.
There we go. Win. You win. You're the winner.
You're the wiener.
You're the wiener of the chicken dinner. Arrived late, Georgia Kane. Hannah Cupcakes. Joanne Kafferke. Carol. Info Warrior. Don't pick a troll. I know, right? All right, folks, let's get to what the fuck news. I got a doubleheader today for the what the fuck news. What the fuck news and what the fuck news doubleheader. Man hit by train. Okay, get this. I don't know how this happens. Man hit by train after falling asleep on the track. What? In Las Cruces. Of course it happens in Las Cruces. Las Cruces is just up the road from El Paso. El Paso, Texas, KTSM. A 33-year-old man fell asleep on train tracks and was just hit by a train early Saturday morning, June 21st in Las Cruces. Las Cruces police spokesman said the incident happened just before 1 a.m. Saturday at Maine and University. The spokesman said the man suffered what appeared to be non-life-threatening injuries. How are you hit by a train and have non-life-threatening injuries? Burlington Northern Santa Fe is investigating. We'll update this story when we learn more. I mean, seriously, you get hit by a train, you fall asleep on the train tracks, get hit, and you have non-life-threatening injuries. I don't know how that happens.
Dude needs to play the lottery.
Dude, right? How do you fall asleep on the train tracks? Who does that?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Who picks to sleep on the train? Who sets up their sleeping bag on the train tracks? I don't get it. I don't know how that works. But he got non-life-threatening injuries. Wow. Upstate New York school employees send nudes to 14-year-old boy. Folks, I'm reading this because I think women are just as bad as men. All right. And when I was going to high school and in junior high, I can remember the teachers flirting with the students, even doing stuff with the students. That's what I remember. But I guess it wasn't looked down upon because it was females. I don't know. A now fired upstate New York school employee has been charged with a felony for allegedly sending nudes to a 14-year-old boy. Ana Maria Malazzo, a 22-year-old employee at the Greater Southern Tier Board of Cooperative Educational Services, was arrested Monday, a week after a school resources officer tipped off that she was sending lewd photos to a minor, according to the Chemung County Sheriff's Office. Malazzo from Elmira had been sending the photos to a 14-year-old boy over 3 months. So over a span of 3 months. She looks young. She's 22 years old. Wow. She was charged with second-degree disseminating indecent material to minors. In the second degree, a felony, and endangering the welfare of a child, a misdemeanor. Despite being charged with a felony, Milazzo was issued a ticket and will appear in Wildsburg Village Court at a later date, cops said. She's a good-looking girl. What is she, 22 years old? Damn, that's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, okay, so 22, wow. That's 8 years, right? 8 years difference. Alex, is my math correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she couldn't just wait till he turned 18. Damn, dude. He's 14 years old. She's sending him nude photos. And she looks like that. If I was the 14-year-old boy, I'd be happier than hell. I'd be as happy as a puppy with 2 Peters. Damn.
Yeah, it's strange. It seems like this is on the rise, dude. Like with these women, these younger women teachers and going after the middle school, high school age kids. It's like they don't mentally grow. Like everybody's too immature nowadays and they want to stay in this like perpetual youth thing. I don't know.
No, you're right about that. Think about this for a second. People like to me in America, you're still considered a child. As sad as this is going to sound, you're still considered a child in your 20s. Like I look at adults that are 25, 26 as children because they look like children to me. They're still acting like a child, and that's in America. Other countries, I don't think so. You go anywhere else, to South America, you go to the Middle East, whatever, you're a man by the time you're 13, 14 years old. But in America, you're like in this perpetual Peter Pan mode. And it's like men, even women, it's like they stay children all the way through their 30s, still living at home, not working, not doing anything, can barely tie their shoelaces, right? So it's almost like, so a 22-year-old like her, she probably still thinks like a 13-year-old.
In a lot of ways, yeah. And the TikTok stuff and the social media, especially TikTok, is not helping. Like they're doing all people do dances and like scripted dances, like, and then you have like 40 and 50-year-old women that want to be like teenage women and they're doing their dances, and then the men are doing it too. It's like all very weird and performative and attention seeking and kind of juvenile, and like everybody's kind of like it's kind of catching on for people.
It's youth worship, dude. Instead of like the youth respecting their elderly and like, you know, it's now parents are looking like jackasses, like doing these TikTok dances with their kids. And what does that show? That just shows that you're a moron. That you're not anybody to look up to when you're actually going on TikTok dancing with your kids. I remember I used to think it was so weird when I would see my friends' moms or their sisters or older sisters or whatever, or their parents going with them to the bar and drinking with them. I used to think to myself, why are you doing that? I remember in Ciudad Juarez, when we were going there to party all the time as high schoolers, some kids would bring their parents would come with them, and their parents would always say, well, I want to be able to watch my kids and see what they're doing. But they're drinking with their kids.
Yeah. It's like a mature, they want to be like the cool friend, or they want to just, there's like this sense they don't, the relationship between parents and children, there's not the kind of
no, they don't want to grow up. Nobody wants to grow up. They want to stay perpetually young forever. Like they think nothing's more pathetic than a guy that's 35, 40, 45, 50, dressing like he's 20, 25.
And then he's not even in shape. Like he doesn't work out, or he doesn't do.
He's wearing the skinny jeans, he has a beard. It's weird, bro. It's so weird. And that's another reason why I quit drinking, by the way. I went from champ to chump. And I'm like, I don't want to be the chump in the bar anymore, dude. I'm not going to be the washed up boxer guy that's in the bar hitting on 20-something-year-olds looking like an asshole. Yeah. That's a big reason why I quit. I mean, it just looks pathetic, dude. I don't care how good looking you think you are. You hit a certain age, you got to know what lap of the race you're in.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just,
so when I see a girl like this who's 22 years old, she's still a child to me, especially in America. Now, anywhere else, she's an adult. But here in America, 22 years old, she probably still parties with teenagers.
Seriously, yeah. And people don't talk about the pornography, which is such a big problem too. And it's become like the last, it's all about this incest stuff, stepbrother, stepsister stuff, weird, slightly older, slightly younger stepmom. It's really, really like demonic type, just like
it's all the lines are blurred, dude. This really does seem like what the Bible talks about, like we are in the end days. I mean, I don't know what you would call this. I mean, this everything just adds up to me. Like I look at this, I think everything that's happening right now, it's like insanity. Have you ever seen that video, Dark Hole Sun by Soundgarden? Black Hole Sun. I suggest my audience watch that. Black Hole Sun. Like that is one of the most prophetic videos Do you remember that video with Chris Cornell, Black Hole's
Yeah,
son?
yeah.
Won't you come?
I
That
don't remember.
video.
I don't remember the video too well. The song though, I do. I know
Pull
pretty
it up
well.
real quick for my audience, just so they can see just a piece of it. Show Black Hole's son. I know I'm taking a little longer here, folks, but I don't know. Do you like hanging out with Sancho when he stops reading the news? We're gonna show Black Hole's son. And really look at this. If you could show me just parts of it, because I don't want to get a fucking copyright strike.
Yeah.
But maybe, yeah, Black Hole's son.
I'll keep the audio off just in case, but
if you show some of the skip to like some of the there it is. Yeah, some of the look at all the end is nigh. And like just people acting weird. This guy, look at that. Is that not every day that you see here? Like just people like filters with their Instagram. Look at all this. Like this was such a prophetic, weird video to me.
Man,
like, it's just like people going crazy. Yeah,
ahead of its time.
Ahead of its time, totally, man. And it's just like showing society going nuts, and that's where we're at right now. Look at that. I don't know. I mean, I watched that video. I'm like, they were way ahead of their time. Man. Black Hole's son. Yeah, it's just to me very prophetic. And I don't know, folks. Watch that video in its entirety. I think there's a lot to be said here. Live free or die. David Nino Rodriguez missed a live with Bo Pony, but watch it later. That was a great show. Thank you. You got it. Nessie, I feel like this hurt us. If we didn't take it all out, I think this only pushes them to go harder. Part of the plan. I hope so. I don't think part of the plan was to have minimal damage. Also, if it gets, what does that say? If it gets hot, prediction, Trump says past 2028. Trump stays past 2028. I think he may. I agree with you because he's already has a special prosecutor for 2020. That says a lot to me. You got to keep your eyes on the ball, folks. I know a lot of us are paying attention to this Iran war and everything happening there, but keep your eyes on the ball. He's got a special prosecutor for 2020. Things are developing here. So, of course, they got to kick off civil unrest and world war because they're all about to get arrested. Thank you, Nino and Alex, for your continued information and energy. Prayers for your parents and Black Sheep family. Thank you so much, Rhonda Peterson. Barry Mann, stay focused on Jesus. We know the impressions from the Holy Spirit and what is about to happen. God gives us wisdom and tells us how to handle this time. Matthew 24, Mark 13, Daniel 12. Thank you, Barry. Jim Cuthbert. Hey, Nino, on the Save Israel for Last deal, I'm with you and your guest. Seems like DJT's already putting Netanyahu out front. I agree. Nukes neutralized from reports, which has the IDF goal, but strikes keep happening. Curious your take on it. Well, let's see what happens with this minimal damage report that I'm hearing. Let's see if that's true. Obviously, Iran's is going to say the contrary. They're going to say, you didn't hit us that bad. We're fine. We moved it all. Because they want to keep perpetuating this war, folks. And who's going to get involved? China. This is all being handled by the hand above, the puppet masters. Joseph, hey, brother, you and your family are in my prayers. Thank you. I finally caught you live. God bless your country. God bless our country, Israel, and the innocent people in Iran. I agree. Thank you, Joseph. Jackie Baby, do you think they are really cleaning up tunnels and saving the children? Yes, I do. Love your show, Nino. I'm sorry I can't give you more at this time. That's fine. Thank you so much. Even a prayer is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Mark Vane, good morning, champ. You're always well over the target, hence why I've been watching you since the very beginning. I can't watch MSM anymore. You make the news exciting and entertaining. Love what you do, Nino. Prayers for your parents and family. Let's go. Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks, folks, I try to be entertaining. I can't be funny all the time. I know I come up here and bomb sometimes. Believe me, I'm completely aware of that. But as long as I keep making it entertaining, I think maybe you'll listen. Reports of a military base in Qatar being attacked by Iranian missiles. Really? That's happening right now? Can you find anything on that, Alex? Reports from an American military base in Qatar being attacked by, oh my gosh. Wow. Do you find anything on that?
Americans in Qatar told to shelter in place and airspace shut down.
Okay, so this right here, if they attack an American airbase, we're in war. This is it. This is it right here, bro. And what did we expect, really? Damn. Americans and Qatar told to shelter in place and airspace shutdown as Iranian military threatens action. Let's get the party started. We got to go through it. I'm telling you, folks, they were gonna push this war whether you liked it or not. And all roads lead to who? Who does it lead to, Alex? There you go. There you go, folks. There he is right there. Look at all that cash. Trump is merely just cleaning up the mess. We got to get through this together, folks. Don't fall for the division or the separation, the infighting with the Patriots. Understand this is an operation. Trust our commander-in-chief. This is what we have to do. We have to get through this. And with that being said, folks, go to Ringside with Nino on ninoscorner.tv. The June 25th in just a few days. Oh, jeez, 2 days. In 2 days, I'll be doing Ringside with Nino on .tv. Where the whole Black Sheep family comes together and we war game together. That's Ringside with Nino. There it is, $11.99 a month. Yearly is $137. And then I got the General's tent the next day with Leo Zagami, the big Vatican whistleblower. So that's going to be the 26th. So the 25th and the 26th, big days on ninoscorner.tv. Leo Zagami will be the general in the General's tent. You ask him whatever question you want. He's going to explain why hunting Obama is so dangerous. And folks, that's why all of this. Understand this. If you get anything from this podcast, that's why all of this is happening right now. Because all roads lead to where? You guessed it. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Thank you for tuning in. And the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the black sheep of broadcasting, baby. Oh, yeah. Later.